Okay, I've been given the green light here, so we'll begin on our webinar for this morning. This is a new product overview. There's a few things I wanted to start promoting a little bit more. We have a new ROV system or configuration that we just put together, and a couple of other products that I want to make people more aware of. So this is a really cool way to get information out there with these webinars. And what's cool about them is that if somebody misses it or didn't get logged in, or we can record them and make them available afterwards. So that's what we'll do here. Don't worry if you miss something, or you have a Wi-Fi problem or whatever. We'll make this available afterwards. So it records my screen, my voice, and everything. So, okay. A little bit about myself. My name is Brian Luzzi. I'm the marketing and training manager here at VideoRay. Been here, well, it'll be 9 years next month. So it's been a while. I've seen a lot of products evolve during that time, and it's always exciting to talk about some new stuff that we have coming out. I've done lots of cool ROV stuff around the world, being the marketing manager here, lots of TV stuff, and lots of cool jobs, ROV missions that have taken me around the world. And so I learned a lot about the product. I learned a lot about the people that use them. So it's always nice to show them something new that could potentially help them with what they're doing with their video rays. And again, I manage the marketing team here, and as well as some of our training, our operator training and advanced maintenance and so forth. So that's me. I'll be with you for the next probably 30 minutes, I think, maybe a little bit more. But for those of you that are unfamiliar with a GoToWebinar or GoToMeeting, in your little panel there on your screen, there's a questions field or window. At any time during this, if you have a question, feel free to type it in, and I have Kate McGarry that works with me here that's going to be looking at the questions. We will try to get to all of them probably towards the end of the presentation. If for some reason we don't get to your question, they're all recorded through the system, so even if we're done and we close out the program, if there's anything that didn't get answered, I'll contact you personally on your email or phone to get your questions answered. So pretty cool feature of the GoToWebinar is the ability to do that. So feel free to type anything you want in there, and we will try to get to all of them at the end. I'm assuming that most of you probably know a little bit about us. I was looking at the attendee list before. There's a lot of familiar folks that I recognize from there, but there's also some I don't. So I'll go over just the About VideoRay very quickly, and apologize to those that know this already, but I want to make sure everybody's on the same page here. So we are VideoRay. We manufacture the small underwater ROV. Been around for almost 16 years now, founded in 1999. We're out of Pottstown, Pennsylvania, which is about 30 miles northwest of the city of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. We've got roughly 49 employees working for us here. The number there is the number of systems we've sold since 1999. I think it's a little bit more than that now, but roughly 3,500 plus ROV systems out there, which makes us the largest volume ROV manufacturer in the world, probably by a good bit. From what we know in our competition out there. So that says something about us, and it's a number we're very proud of. We work out of a nice manufacturing assembly facility here in Pottstown with a large ROV test tank, and most of our R&D work goes on at the old barn in Phoenixville, for those of you familiar with our operation here. So our R&D guys are over there doing their mad scientist stuff, separate from us, which is usually a good thing. Some of the benefits of our products and having a small ROV in general are the rapid setup time, the portability, and the cost effectiveness of the system. It's highly portable, very easy to pilot ROV system for anything that requires submerged inspection, location, identification, things of that sort. Penetration of confined dangerous areas. Putting a robot in contaminated water is a much better option than putting a human diver in harm's way. search, rescue, recovery, documentation, identification. All this stuff is live video and photograph, so you have the data that's recorded to report on any of those applications there. We say that our system is one-person portable and deployable and operable, which is a very true statement in my opinion. It doesn't help to have folks assisting along the way, but it is technically one person operable. We have a nice list of attachments, accessories, and instruments such as sonar, positioning, and all of our accessories are plug and play, so nothing ever needs to come back to the factory to be attached, so on and so forth. So you plug it in, if the software is there, you should be ready to go. And one thing we pride ourselves on is the simplicity of the maintenance of our vehicle. We've engineered a lot of visual maintenance indicators into the product, meaning that we can have simple field maintenance in the event that anything needs attention. Example given there is the cartridge seal, which is the oil-filled seal that lubricates the motor shafts. It's visually identifiable. You'll know when it's time to change it, and changing it takes a matter of seconds. So we pride ourselves on the ease of maintenance of our vehicle. Okay, we'll get into the good stuff now. The first two that you'll see here aren't necessarily brand spanking new. They've never been seen or heard of before. The rotating manipulator on the left is a very new product, and the recovery toolkit on the right has been around in some form or another for a little bit, but we've got it nicely packaged now, and a real nice kit that we're going to start promoting a lot more, because we really have seen the benefits of the recovery toolkit, and I'll get into all these in detail as we go. And the third one is a new ROV configuration that we've put together. We're calling it the Voyager, and it's going to live in our economy line. So we're going with the Scout, Explorer, and the Voyager, and you can probably notice the theme that we have going there. So we're kind of bridging a gap in performance and price between our economy line of entry-level systems, the Scout and the Explorer, and our top line Pro 4 professional system. So we'll go into that in greater detail as well. We'll start with the rotating manip. Many of you know, if you're familiar with our systems over the last 15, 16 years, that we've had our single axis manipulator. Varying opinions on that. So needless to say, we're very excited to have something new and much more capable than our good old buddy there, the old manip. This was designed, as is the old one, by Inuktun. They did a really nice job on this, getting the performance in the small package that we need to put on our systems. The manipulators or accessories, as you know, are only compatible with Pro 4 models right now. They were with the Pro 3. We've since discontinued those subs, but right now the rotating manip is only compatible with the Pro 4 ROV system, and it works in the same manner with the 9-pin accessory plug, and it lives below the skid as did the other one. But there's a lot of new features with this rotating manip and more functionality, so it's something we're really excited about getting out there, and it's been a long time coming. So some specs on it here: 300 meters, kind of like everything else that we have on the Pro 4. Depth rating, it's 1,000 feet. Again, plug and play, just 9-pin, plug it in. Accessory port and your controls on your hand controller are operate the same as the old manipulator, with one minor difference, or major difference, I should say, with the rotating feature, and I'll show you that in a sec here. We say the braking strength on this is 100 pounds, so we're all aware, those of us familiar with the VideoRay, that we're not picking up 45 kilos or 100 pounds with the sub under the power of the sub itself. We are able to pick up that much with a good grip on a manipulator and some good old muscle pulling up the tether by hand, which is something we've done several times. But we'll put a cap on this at 45 kilos, 100 pounds, the amount that the actual hardware can take before we start getting into some breakage. The newest feature that we're really excited about is the rotation of the head. We can go 360 degrees, both clockwise and counterclockwise, and stepped in between. So it's very accurate and very simple. And I'll show you how we've integrated that feature into the hand controller. Just a minute here. And we also have 5 interchangeable heads now. So in our previous model, we just had the one grabber head, the parallel grabber head, which was very useful. It was a very good manip. It did what it was supposed to do. But now we've got much more variety here for different tasks. So we'll go through those heads now. Starting on the left now, and the interchangeable part, you'll see there's 4 screws involved, and then kind of an Allen key. So I've switched out all 5 heads, and each head probably takes 2 to 3 minutes to switch it out. You can do it out in the field, so it's not very difficult at all. It's a Phillips head, screwdriver, and an Allen key, which come in the kit for the manipulator. Right now we're selling this as an entire kit, which is the body and all 5 heads. I will talk a little bit about pricing and stuff at the end, and then how we're trying to figure this out, since it's very new to us. Are we going to sell it with 1 head? Are we going to sell it with all 5 heads? So we're always trying to be flexible and meet our customers' needs. So with your help, we can probably get that dialed in. So on the left is a parallel jaw. It's kind of similar to the old head that we had on our manipulator. Simple open and close on that one. Moving to the right, we have the V jaw. It consists of 4 kind of fingers there that interlock and opens very wide. So the difference between that one and the parallel jaw is how far the heads are opening. And I've got specs on that on the next slide, but just let me get through these basic overview here. The trident jaw, it's 3-finger gripping jaw. You can see that's maximum, that's probably about 3/4 of the way open there. So that's a big, nice jaw on that one. The sampler jaw, which is really cool, kind of lets us dig up sediment or anything on the bottom that you can scoop. So it's kind of like a little shovel head there, and when you close it, it closes off the sample until you get it to the surface. So that's a really neat head that we have there. And the one on the far right is a cutter. So there's a razor in there. It's much more formidable than a standard razor blade, which is what we had in our first attempt at a cutter. This thing is an absolute beast. It's extremely sharp, and the closing force on it is really is a lot, much more compared to our old one. So we're able to cut much more than we were used to with our old one. So here's some of the specs, and again, I'll make this this presentation available afterwards, so you can look at this in more depth, or you can visit our website under our options and the product tab on our website, and you can download the spec sheet for this manipulator, and all of this is on it here. So you can see some of the closing forces for each individual heads. The sample size, you can pick up 1.45 milliliters with the sampler. The opening on the cutter blade there, so we're about 1 inch. Now, I don't think we're getting through 1 inch of steel cable with that. Maybe some much thinner steel cable on that. I've yet to really play around with that one myself, but I know we can get through thick nylon rope and stuff like that. The thing is really beefy. So feel free to go to our website and download the rotating manipulator spec sheet, and all this information is on there. On the left here is showing how we're working the rotation. So we have the same open and close features, which is your right hand, forefinger, and middle finger will still operate the open and close as it did with the old one. But we've added the rotation of the manipulator head into that 3rd axis on the joystick there. So it's not moving left and right, but twisting clockwise and counterclockwise. to operate or to engage the rotating feature of the manipulator head. So it's very simple. While you're piloting the ROV with that joystick, it's a simple left or right if you need some rotation feature there. Works really good. I've used it a few times now, and it's something getting used to. But if you work with it in a pool for a little bit, you can really pick it up quickly, just like pretty much everything else on VideoRay. So, and I just wanted to point out with the image on the right there that this is compatible with the imaging sonar head. If you do want to put it on with an imaging sonar head like the V900 Blueview there, we do have an extra flotation block that's necessary to put on there. So it's just a couple of screws on the bottom into the skid. It's giving you the correct ballast and trim in the water, because the rotating manip is a little heavier than the old one. So but there's nothing that we can't ballast correctly with the tools that we already have and the ballast features that we have. So the only one that requires more is the Blueview. So it's just that blue kind of block that you see there. So yes, to answer any of those questions before, it is compatible with the imaging sonar, and again, if you have the Micron or the Sea Sprite and things like that. So it plays nice with everything. All right. I had two little short videos on the rotating manip. We had to meet a spec for a tender that had the ROV picking up at least, the spec was 1.5 kilos, but I pushed it up to 1.8 and used the new manipulator, rotating manip, to actually pick up some dive weights that maxed out at 1.88 kilos and 4.15 pounds, which is quite a bit for our system. I did this in our tank downstairs using the rotating manip. These are just lead dive weight, and I had some zip ties on there, but I'm using also a ballast technique and the horizontal thrusters to lift that instead of the vertical motor, which isn't powerful enough to lift up that much weight, but we did use, and you can see there I'm holding with that weight at the surface. So this was a cool test. That's probably about the max weight we can pick up under just the ROV power. So that's a neat spec for the size of our system. I was pretty impressed that we could get that much weight up, and there's a view of our shop here. You can see me. I'll take it over and just to prove that it is that much weight. So sorry if the video is a little jumpy there. I'll clean it up at the end, and I'll resend it out so you can see it working in real speed there. But that's our scale and our shipping area there, so in pounds. So I thought that was pretty cool. And this one, I wasn't going to play this, just questioning how professional this was, but I thought about it, and it shows a couple of neat things. So we're just pouring a beer into a glass here, and it shows how kind of precise the rotating motion can be for one there. And of course you got to let the foam die down a little bit before he keeps refilling it. And this was Mark Fleming. He's our military business development and a tinkerer of all things VideoRay. So give him the credit for this video here. But once he's done there, it also kind of shows the force of the manipulator head. He's crushing the beer can here. So imagine if you're doing this with your hands. It kind of shows the force of the closing weight of the manipulator. So if that gives you any reference at all, I thought it was relevant to this. So okay, that's the rotating manip. Again, you can come to our website. There's a whole page on it. Everything I mentioned is in writing form. You can download the spec sheet, so on and so forth. So, all right, we'll move on to our second new product. Now this, like I mentioned before, it has been around in a couple of different forms with some of our ROV tinkerers out there. And this one was put together in a package by a fellow named Patrick Rowe. He's a Midwest ROV that kind of designed and put this kit together, and it works so darn well that we really want to start promoting it more. And I'll show you some videos of successful recoveries that were completed by Craig Thorngren of Submerged Recovery. He's out in Washington State, and he's picked up crazy things with this recovery toolkit, and I'll show you some of the examples of things that he's picked up with this kit. So thanks to Craig and Patrick for some of the content here. So just some basic specs on our recovery tool here. It's depth rated 300 meters, 1,000 feet, like everything else on our Pro 4. And it's very simple, no tools skid attachment. So it just screws into the pre-existing threaded holes on the bottom of the skid with a couple of thumb screws. So it's really easy to put on and take off. So what are we doing with this here? Now there's a lot of different kind of tools in this kit, but I'm going to focus on one called the 2T recovery tool. Very simple but extremely effective tool in this kit. But what are we doing overall with the recovery kit? So we mentioned that we are able to pick up things up to about 100 pounds if we have a good grip with the regular or the rotating manipulator to bring to the surface by pulling the tether up, just hand over hand muscle getting it up. And what if we have something that's just, it's too large, we can't get a good grip on it, and we need much more, formidable rope or line on something to get it to the surface with either a crane or some kind of winch, launch and recovery tool. So what we're doing with the 2T recovery tool and this kit is we are attaching a separate line to the target or the item, the submerged item, that we can recover with a Lars or a crane, something like that. So we're attaching an external line that's flying down with the VideoRay. We're attaching either the carabiner or one of the clips to the submerged object. We're backing away, so now we're free of our line, and now we can stay down and have a visual of the recovery. So that's kind of the steps involved with the recovery toolkit. And here's an example. Here was a bike that was recovered by Craig Thorngren. So we attached the carabiner on the left there to one of the spokes, and on the right there is when they brought it back up to the surface, just hand over hand there. So Craig actually just texted me something. They just recovered a $4 million AUV with the recovery kit. So I'll add that picture he just sent me to the presentation after I'm done and send that out. But that's good stuff, Craig. Thanks. Here's a close-up of it. It's a very simple device, but this was put together very well by Patrick. You can see the machined clamp there. With the carabiner that's inserted in it, and basically you're using the spring motion of the carabiner there. You're opening it up and just closing. If you can see my cursor there. You're just pulling this in and closing. So when you have found what you want to recover and you found a good spot to get it on, you simply insert the line or whatever the structure part is. This snaps, this closes, and the whole carabiner and line pull apart from the recovery tool. So very simple, very slick, yet very effective. So this is just an image of the kit you get. Some of the brackets, the mounting brackets and fixtures. There's snap clips, as well as the 2T recovery tool in there. And then the floats. The floats are important to keep the line, the down line that you're attaching away from the VideoRay thrusters. So with the user manual that you get with the recovery toolkit, they show you how to rig it so using those floats so the line is nowhere near the thrusters of the ROV. Which, if you've ever gotten anything snagged in there, can be a pain and end your day real quick. Here's some of the videos I had from Craig. This was an instrument that was recovered I believe in Washington State off the coast. The deployment feature, the flotation feature, failed on it. It was a scientific apparatus from one of the universities there. The flotation, acoustic flotation device did not, or failed for one reason or another, and Craig was tasked with recovering this. So you can see they've located the item there, which was done with the sonar, blue view sonar, I believe. So the next step is to get find a good point for recovery, and it looks like there's some rope on there already. So he's now attached his recovery kit, and you can see the line attached there to the carabiner, which is, it's loaded and it's still trapped there. So I've identified the point there, and I believe there's some good rope on this already that we could get around, or that Craig could get around to attach the line. So with some good piloting, he's going to get up on the system there and get his carabiner caught around it, go full flaps reverse, snap off. So now you have the recovery line on the system. They had some kind of winch or Lars on the workboat they were on. So you can see there that float was designed to keep the line away from the thrusters. Looks like they're locked on good, and they pulled this up, and I believe there's a picture of it on board coming up here. So I can't remember the weight of this. I'm guessing it was over 100 pounds. But you can see they're using their Lars to recover their system, and there's proud Thorngren with his tools and his gear he recovered. So good video there to show the simplicity and the effectiveness of this tool. And here's just a few more things he recovered. I think that bike is in there, and some other stuff. Craig likes to pick up sunglasses and cell phones and all kinds of things. So this was the bike. So in this one, he's got the recovery tool side mounted. The good thing about this is that you can mount it in a bunch of different places on the ROVs. Obviously, you'd want it in the view of your camera. So here he's got it side mounted, so he has both ability to use his old manipulator and the recovery kit as well. So getting a bike up, is probably perfect for this. It looks like a lot of different places that you can snag your carabiner onto. But now Craig has done a lot of recovery of not only this type of stuff, but also drowning victims as well. And he's crafted all kinds of little tools for this, and I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to you about them. I'll give you his information afterwards as well. Snares for drowning victims that are just too deep for divers to get to. Snares that you can wrap around some sort of limb or something to make drowning victim recovery possible at depth. Now you can see here the bike coming on up. There she is. And I think now he's just on his manipulator picking up cell phones and beer bottles. And so the manipulator is a handy tool, to say the least. I'd say it's probably one of the most essential tools to have on the VideoRay, and it's you don't have to buy the Pro 4 system with it right off the bat. It's something you can add at a later date, and obviously the same as the recovery toolkit. So something to think about if you're getting ready to purchase a system. The ability to upgrade at a future date is as simple as just purchasing that item. You don't need to send it back to the factory. We don't need to install anything for you. It's there when you need it. So there's Craig's. Let me pause that. Craig's contact right there. He's at submergedrecovery.com, and there's his email address at the top. So he does this stuff for a living. He's professional, and he could tell you a lot more about it and cooler stuff that he's done than I have here. So that's the recovery toolkit. Recommended apps: drowning victim evidence search, rescue recovery, hardware recovery, and even if you just want to downline on a wreck or something, or mark a location with a buoy or something. So applications for the recovery toolkit. Okay, last product product I want to talk about here is the VideoRay Voyager ROV. This is something we've been talking about for a long time, and we finally have the manpower to make it happen. Again, we're trying to bridge that gap in performance and price. Now this is, I'll give you pricing for this at the end. So the progression is Scout, Explorer, Voyager, Pro 4, or sorry, Ultra, Pro 4 Ultra, Pro 4 regular. So we bridge that gap between the capabilities of the Explorer system and the Pro 4 system. So what did we do here? We took an Explorer ROV, the body and guts of the Explorer. For those of you who are familiar with the Explorer, it's a 250-foot or 76-meter depth-rated entry-level ROV system. So basically what we did with that is take that, added the much larger Pro 4 thrusters on it. Sorry, Pro 4 size thrusters. It's not the power of the Pro 4, but we added over a knot in speed and significantly more power to the horizontal thrusters on the Voyager ROV system. So we have the 100 millimeter props or 90 millimeter props that we have on the Pro 4, and if you remember the old GTO system, the Pro 3, the same props and guards for that. Now the motor has been rewired to handle the additional strain on the motor from the larger thruster, and we also enlarged the size of the vertical thruster. If anybody is familiar with the older Scout and Explorer vertical thruster, it was extremely underpowered. Not to say that the system wasn't good for, you know, a few things. The Scouts and Explorers are great for potable water tank inspections and stuff with no current, no ocean or water current to speak of. So we've increased the power both vertically and horizontally on the Voyager system. It flies great. It flies kind of like the old GTO because we still have the same controls as the Explorer and GTO. So the very fine motor control is on here, and this system is really cool. Total system weight on this is 34 kilos. It's the two cases. You get the control panel and the 1620 Pelican case that has the sub. We'll go into all that in a little bit more detail, but this is just kind of an overview. We still have the depth gauge, so we know our depth, and we have a compass heading. Imaging, the forward color camera with the same 160-degree tilt that we have in the Pro 4 or the Explorer. We also have an auto depth feature and an LCD readout that's going to show us all of that. So if you're looking at it, yes, it's an Explorer panel, same features as the Explorer, but now we've got more power, more powerful sub on the other end. So what's in the box? What's in the whole kit? The Voyager. You get the sub, control panel. It comes with 40 meters of PPT, or professional performance tether. That's 130 feet. You get your basic toolkit, and we have the sub in a 1620 Pelican case. Where's that at? We'll get there. So that's the standard size case that we have that has a handle and wheels for portability on it, and I'll show you that in a sec. Sometimes you can get the Explorer or the Voyager control panel inside the same case as the sub. So it basically gets you down to your tether, which is less than 10 pounds, and your sub case. So a little bit more about the submersible itself. We went over the depth, speed, and the submersible weight is around 6 kilos or 13 pounds. That's with full ballast weight in it. So depending if you're working in salt or fresh, that can change. So same camera as our Explorer, the 570 TV lines with a 140-degree diagonal view, so very wide, underwater optimized camera. Again, there's a depth sensor in this sub that can give us our depth on the LCD readout of the panel. We have the variable intensity 20-watt halogen lamps, so you can turn them up and down as needed in variable intensity there. The same skid ballast weight system as all the subs, so it's no tools required. You pop open the hatch there, add or subtract weight as necessary to get your trim characteristics right in the water. And the motors, the horizontal, we have the 100, I think it's 90 millimeters, but they put 100 millimeter props on there. Not a huge difference. These are the brushed motors that were in the same Explorer system, if you're familiar with that. We also have increased the size of the vertical prop. Panel, again, Explorer panel. We've done some new graphics on it for the Voyager branding. So you're still getting the 7-inch color monitor there. The LCD readout in the middle there is going to show your depth, your compass heading. It's going to give you show your auto depth feature as well, and it's going to show you if any of your third axis features are on or off. You can read more about that in the user manual, which is online. There's no video overlay in the Explorer or Voyager or Scout systems, so your depth is right there in front of you on your panel, but it's not superimposed on the video that you're getting on your color monitor there. And speaking of video, it's the same analog composite out video jack. Here's a little close-up of the panel, and that's the case to the left. This is just a picture showing the portability of the system. So I have the panel in my left hand there, the sub, the toolkit in my right hand, and the Pelican 1620 case that has wheels and a handle, retractable. And I have my tether on my back there. The tether backpack, which is one of my favorite things that we have. It's so easy to carry tether around. That's not included with the Voyager system, but I just wanted to show you the possibility of that. The tether backpack is for sale online in the VideoRay store, and I'll explain the store a little bit more in a second here. But if I didn't have that backpack, I'd have the one small coil of professional performance tether, which you can wrap around the handle or just carry it over your shoulder or something. It's very light. Alright, so here's some of the pricing. The reason I put call for quote on the rotating manip, it's less than 10 grand, I can tell you that, but what they're trying to do now is customize it to whatever you need. So instead of selling everybody 5 heads, you know, that maybe you have no use for a cutter, you have no use for a sampler, so on and so forth, we'll try to dial it in and get the price right for that. I think with all of the heads and everything, it's still less than $10,000. I'm not sure where they're going with that, but to get that price down, we'll want to try to customize it with whatever you're doing. There's the URL for our page on our website. Again, spec sheets and everything you need to know about the rotating manipulator there. The recovery kit is $15.55 US. You get everything you see in that kit there. If you're interested in that, contact us at sales at VideoRay. We will be selling that in the online store. We're going to get that up very shortly, so it'll be something you can just pay with a credit card or online. And the Voyager ROV system, we're at $13,995. So again, we've bridged that price gap between the Explorer, which is at $89.95, and the Pro 4 Ultra, which is what, 20 something, 25. So we just kind of hit a middle spot there, which is good. There's a big jump between the Explorer and the Pro 4 Ultra Light. So we hope to fill that gap by giving a more functional and capable system at a more attractive price than the Pro 4 Ultra and the Explorer, respectively. So you could buy this online if you want. It's living at the shop.videoray.com store. The spec sheets are there. Everything you need to know that I went over is on the website there. You can also get there from our main website, just under Economy ROVs. Click on Voyager and it'll take you there. So if you're not familiar with the shop site, it's something that I did at the end of last year, or beginning of this year. I've always been interested in e-commerce. It's fun to buy things online. I know some of our stuff is expensive, and you know it's kind of hard to pull the trigger on a $9,000 credit card order online. But we sell much more than the subs there. We sell the Scout, Explorer, and the Voyager on that. But we do a lot more than that. You can buy some basic parts now on here. This is an example of the cartridge seal page. You just tell us how many you want. You get a real easy, secure, authorized.net credit card payment window. Shippings are calculated for you based on your location. It's just like buying anything else online. Like if you're like me, more and more of my shopping is done online now. So if you need 3 or 1, cartridge seals, or there's domes on there, there's or GoPro attachment. There's I'm trying to add to it as much as I can to make it much easier for people to buy the parts and stuff they need. And there's T-shirts and hats and the tether backpacks on there. So cool kind of small things are on there. So make sure you check that out, and please by all means use it to buy stuff quickly. We'll ship it out. Try to ship it out the same day. If it's ordered on a weekend, we'll get to it the Monday morning when we get in. So that's shop.videoray.com. Okay, that is my presentation on some of our new products. I have questions here. Let me get a list from Kate. Okay. Is the rotating manip compatible with the wireless PlayStation controller? Yes, we'll remap everything. It's going to require a software installation and some remapping, but yeah, we can do that for you. Right now, we're telling people to use it with the industrial controller, but it's just our support people remapping the controls in the wireless PlayStation controller to get you up and running there. So, second question, can the recovery kit be used in tandem with the rotating manipulator? Yes, I'm going to say yes, because that's a good question. I never even thought about that. There are holes available in the bottom of that rotating manip for that, and we can also mount that recovery kit arm on the side, like we showed you in that one video. We can put it on either side of the skid in some of the available. There's 2 screws on the side of the Pro 4 skid that we can mount that recovery kit to as well. So I'm gonna say yes, and actually when I leave here I'm gonna go make that possible, or see if that's possible, but I'm gonna say yes. So if it's not, I apologize, but I strap stuff to ROVs all the time, to our ROVs all the time. If not, let's throw some zip ties on duct tape on there and be done with it. So the cool thing about the VideoRay is that you can strap anything to it. And one of the main ingredients in my kit is zip ties and black tape. So, but I'm going to say yes, it can be screw mounted to it. What is the resistance of the carabiner? I'm thinking that's weight limit before that it breaks. So it's steel, and I'm not entirely sure of this, but since they say 4,000 pound max is advertised in the kit, I'm going to say that's what it is. Now, that seems like a lot. So that might be something I have to get back to you on. It also depends on the line. So with that kit, you get the stuff to hook up, the float, the carabiner, but you're going to need a lot of nylon line if you want to pick up anything heavy. So it also depends on that. I'm going to go with what's advertised, but I think that sounds like a lot. And I will get back to whoever wrote that question with a more definitive answer than that. Can you put a manipulator on the Voyager? Unfortunately, the answer is no. We've toyed around with putting manipulators on the Explorer and the Voyager now. It would require too much re-engineering to do that and stay at the price point that we want to. So unfortunately, you're stuck with just a visual tool with the Voyager, albeit one that can go more places than some of the Scout and Explorer entry-level ones. So that answers that question. Another one here. Will the backpack hold 100 meters of neutral tether? Answer on that is absolutely. I've had two 250, so those are 76, 140 plus plus 40. So I've had almost close to 300 or close to 200 meters of segmented tether in there. I've had two neutrals, standard length neutrals, and two PPTs in there. Yeah, it's big. It holds a lot of stuff. You could also get a big thing of negative in there. It'll be hard on your shoulders, but the answer to that is yes. So take a look on the shop site of that. I think I listed there in detail like what I've actually been able to put in it. But if you have a specific tether configuration that you have and you have a question about whether it'll fit, let me know. I'll give you. Here's my. Here's our contact here. My contact is brian.luzzi@VideoRay. I'm also on the marketing email there if that makes it easier. But if you have any specific tether configuration you want to know about, shoot me an email and I'll let you know. So is that it for questions? Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much. I hope this was helpful. Drop me some feedback if you think these are good. If you don't like them. If you think they're valuable. I think it's a cool way to keep people informed of our stuff, and I want to do much more of them. We try to do stuff that's very specific in application to a smaller group of people, but I want to try to do more general ones like this. So if there's anything you want to let me know about these, feel free to drop me a line. And again, I appreciate your time for being with us this morning. We will make this available as a video, and we'll send it to all the people that registered and to our database as well. So thanks again. Have a great day.